Hi, good evening, Sharayi. How are you? Today's reading session, as I told you, we're going to work with these article links and see, right, how it's possible to determine if there was a life once in Mars or not. That's going to be the mission that this rover has. So let's begin, right? We were working about, well, we were talking about this like a topic. We didn't have the chance of starting with this. I think we got to read only the first part. I'm not sure, but if not, let's begin and let's read everything, please. Shara'i, let's begin by these first two short paragraphs, please.
Safely landed on Mars after its 292.5 million mile journey from Earth, the agency confirmed at 3:55 p.m. ET Thursday the rover landed itself flawlessly according to the mission's team. Mission control sent back its first images of which shows the rover's shadow on the surface of its landing sites of its landing site of G0 crater.
First thing we're going to do before analyzing this in detail, I want to know what you were able to
Understand?
Yes, of course. The first thing we're going to do, please, Shara'i, is that you're going to try to explain everything that you were able to understand by reading.
What I understand it's well, it's talking about the specific details about the mission. Um, for example, the hours or I don't know the the rest, and how the mission is going on and how the
It was like silent, it was cut.
no, that's old.
Okay, good, very good, right? I thought that it was that something happened, but okay, good, Sharai. So let's begin. I'm going to start. Questions are going to be related to these, well, to these two paragraphs, but details related to, for example, names and ways in which something happened. For example, for you, just by reading this, I think we talked about this, but how can you understand this word, Sharai, rover? What is a rover for you? Because it says, right, the rover landed itself flawlessly, according to the missions team. And here we're saying, right, an NASA Perseverance rover safely landed. So once again, so what is this word? How do you understand that word?
Yes, the last class I asked you that the meaning of that word. So the rover is a machine that it's controlled by it's controlled on the well, I don't know where it's controlled by the way, but it's a machine that it takes picture or uh, uh, our walks. I don't know if if the walks is the correct expression, but walks and
Okay, good, very good, right? It's one special kind of machine or vehicle that is actually from, well, that works on space, right? An outer space. That's good. Yes, I remember that one. And it's very important to have that information, right? To understand what we're talking about here. It's great that we have that in mind yet. The second one is that how can you describe this landing in your own words? For example, it says, the rover landed itself, right, flawlessly, according to the missions team. What other words can you use instead of flawlessly here, Sharai?
I don't know, teacher. I I never heard about that word flawlessly.
All right, and do you think that it is positive or negative according to the context and all the other information that you're reading?
I think it's positive. So in this case, it could be saying that flawlessly could mean that this machine, the rover, have a good arrive maybe.
Okay,
Good.
good. Yes, tell me, Shari, what else?
Yes, that's what I say in could arrive. I don't know if that expression is correct, but I refer in closely with that.
Okay, yes, actually, yes, it is positive, and it's a stronger than good. We can say that it had a good landing, right? But it's a stronger. I think it's very, very strong. This word, you use flawless, all right? Flawless is like the adjective, right? Something flawless is something perfect, and something flawlessly is something perfectly, right? So, in other words, it means that the landed or the landing site, what, in the way it occurred, it was with no mistakes. Okay, if you look for the definition of flawlessly, it's going to be something that happened without mistakes or with no mistakes, all right? Good, very good. So positive, yes. And the next one is going to be, before going to the next part, mm, here we have this idea, right? Percy, how can you explain this? Try to use your own words. Again, Percy, as the spacecraft is affectionately right called an mission center, sent back and the other information. We know that this that we have here is like an interrupter, right? Parenthetical phrase. How can you understand this parenthetical phrase? What is spacecraft and what is Percy? How do you understand this part?
Mm, Percy, I know that the though in names. So I think the Percy is the name of the mission, and the spacecraft. I don't know what it is. So that's all.
Okay, no, it's okay. It's okay. There are many new things because there's a lot of new vocabulary. So let's remember that the name of this little rover, right? Like I'm calling it little because it's little in comparison to other spaceships that go to space. This rover is little, but it's actually a big robot. And the name of this rover is Perseverance. All right, so it's the rover which name is Perseverance. And actually, Perseverance, right, because there was a contest. I think that almost all the machines that NASA sent to space were baptized, let's say, after the name well, after a name. And that name was selected after a contest. And usually you have the contest in schools. All right, so in a school, there was a contest won because that kid needed to present why it's perseverance. I think it's great for in this case, right? To persevere, to be persistent, perseverance. So that's the name of the rover. And if you realize here, we're talking about this. So we are calling the rover Perseverance Percy. Why? When we're talking about the spacecraft, we're talking about any kind. A rover is one kind of vehicle that goes to space, and spacecraft that are in outer space could be a spaceship, could be a rover, and this particular rover is named Perseverance.
No, teacher, but yes, I have one little question. So, a
Yeah,
spacecraft and a rover in this context could be the teams lived up to the namesake, overcoming the challenge of preparing for the journey's final staging during a pandemic. This landing is one of those pivotal moments for NASA, the United States, and space exploration globally when we know we are on the cusp of discovery and sharpening our pencils, so to speak, to rewrite the textbooks, said acting NASA Administrator Steve Jersey.
very good. Now, again, and now I'm going to go directly to the specifics. I'm going to ask you what are the questions that you have this time, Shadai? What are the words that are hard for you to understand, or the parts of the reading that result a little bit difficult to finish the conversation?
Yes, those words that is namesake.
Okay, namesake is the name that you got, that you receive when you are baptized. All right. For example, Shai, right? Jose, Luis, those are namesakes. And why are we using this kind of word over here? Because not only first name or name, right? This refers again the way you are baptized. In this case, This rover, right, was baptized or called with the namesake of Perseverance. And when we say that Perseverance and her teams lived up to, this is a very interesting expression. To live up to something is to fulfill expectations, to do something that is expected from you. So if you are called Perseverance, right? If this was your name, Shai, everybody would expect that you are a person with a lot of perseverance, right? Very persistent to do everything until you get it. So when they say that Perseverance and Hermes lived up to the namesake is perseverance, it means that at the end, yes, they overcame like a lot of challenges. They were very persistent. They worked with a lot of perseverance to achieve this mission and to successfully, right, do what they were expecting to do. That's more or less the idea over here, and that's how can I can relate this word namesake with this context. I don't know if it's clear. If you have any more questions, Sharai, let me know, please.
No, teacher, it's clear.
Good, very good. Again, I'm going to try to keep working with this one. I think it's going to be very interesting to know what happens. But just in case I'm giving you the link, you can keep reading a little bit. We're going to try to discuss at least the next 2 or 3 paragraphs before working with a different article, all right? And if you have any questions related to what you read, you're going to let me know in the next conversation, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Very good. So thanks for being here, Sharai. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow in class.
Bye, teacher. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Hello, good evening, Lourdes. How are you?
Hi, teacher. I'm fine, thank you.
That's great. Great to know, Lourdes. So we're going to work with this article. I think that we were not able to start working with this, right, Lourdes? Did we start reading this article with you, NASA's and Mars, the rover?
No, I think no.
No, right? Yes, because I think last time we were focused on finishing the reading of the essay, right? So to practice a little bit. Good. So let's try to take this a look, please. Let's read this headline first, Lourdes, please.
Okay, Perseverance rover has successfully landed on Mars and sent back its first images.
Great. Just by reading that information, Lourdes, what can you tell me? Of course, we know, right, what the article is going to be about with this, but what can you tell me your own words that is, well, happening here?
I think that some kind of robot or something like that has landed on Mars, and it was very successful because it sends pictures of that landing. I'm not sure, but what's the Perseverance rover. I'm not sure if it's like a name or something like that, or it's something very different.
Okay, good, good. The explanation is good. Here we have actually two things. Perseverance is the name, and rover is the, let's say, one kind of vehicle. All right, it's like if you say, for example, a Perseverance, let's say, truck. All right, so rover as truck is one kind of vehicle, but it's a special kind of vehicle because a rover is a vehicle that is sent outer space, right? So you're saying the name of the rover and you're saying that it is a rover, right? Just to put a lot of emphasis on what you're talking about. So yes, it is a vehicle and a space vehicle, which name is Perseverance. All right. And yes, the rest is okay. Now I have some questions before going deeper, Lourdes. How much do you know about this? Because this is something that happened on February, right? This year. Of course, it's not that old, but it happened on February. And I want to know if you also know about other rovers, because a rover, as I told you, it's one kind of vehicle. If you know about other rovers that were sent to Mars already, do you know something related to that?
Um, I really don't know, teacher, uh, I had the the flashback maybe is about the listening something, but I am not into it really. I think that it's a topic that it's not very interesting to me. So maybe yes, I heard something about that, but I'm not into it, really into it.
Okay, okay, yes. Most people, right? We've heard about this landing and other perhaps rovers before, but yes, you really need to be right into this to know all the details related to that. But it's interesting because just in the first four paragraphs, we have really interesting vocabulary that I think it's worth knowing. So that's going to be the purpose here. Let's go back then a little bit, or scroll down, sorry, Lourdes, and we're going to start by reading the first two paragraphs. You read it, you're going to tell me what you can understand related to it, and we're going to talk about the possible words that are hard to get or that we don't understand. All right, let's begin, please.
Okay, the NASA Perseverance rover safely landed on Mars after its 292.5 million-mile journey from Earth. The agency confirmed at 3:55 p.m. ET Thursday. The rover landed itself uh, flag- flawlessly, according to the mission's team. Percy, as the spacecraft is aficionated, called at mission control, sent back its first images of the landing site immediately after touchdown. Um, which shows the rover's shadow on the surface of its landing site of a Jezero crater.
Great, thank you very much, Lourdes. First, as always, let's work with superficial aspects of this, right? Let's try to read these words once again, please, Lourdes, perhaps by reading the context, trying to understand everything. You made some mistakes, but let's try to see. Let's read those words, please.
Okay, agency,
Mhm.
um, flawlessly, um, affectionately, crater.
Okay, good one. Yes, I'm going to delete this one. So this one was good, right? The first one you read it like right, agency, but this one was perfect. Agency, very good. This one is, I think, you confused at the beginning with a different word because you read it differently, right? So affectionately, good, affectionately. Now these two only related to this. We're going to make the same change that you made here. At the beginning, you said like agency, but agency was the correct. Now, what do you say? You're saying crater here. What do you think is going to be the best option as this one?
Crater?
Crater. Good. Very good. Right, a crater. What about this one? This is a little bit. When you have that u is also very similar to that to the u, only the u, right, in Spanish, English. And remember that you have those two together. It's almost like oh. How would you pronounce in that way?
Um, flawlessly, something
Uh-huh.
like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's way better. Flawlessly. Flawlessly. So flawless means perfect without mistakes. And something flawlessly is an adverb. It means that the landed was done perfectly, all right, without mistakes. It's the manner in which it occurred. Good, flawlessly. That's it. Now, with that information, with those corrections in terms of, let's say, pronunciation, what can you tell me about the overall information in these two paragraphs, Lourdes? What did you understand?
That Perseverance rover had a very long journey from Earth to Mars, and that it landed perfectly at Mars, and and the NASA could have some pictures about the its shadow on this on the floor of Mars, of the planet, and that's why, mm, how they knew that the rover landed perfectly.
Very good. That's right, right? Something like this kind of picture that we have over there that was shared on Twitter, right? Because this rover has its own Twitter account in which NASA is going to be posting, and actually they are posting a lot of videos and photos that the rover is taking on Mars because it's exploring and it's going to be there for many years, right? Gathering information, collecting material, and analyzing the life that they suppose that was millions of years ago. So, do you have any questions about some words or expressions here, Lourdes? Let me know, please.
No, I think no. The only word that I had it up was flawlessly.
Mhm.
But with the explanation, it's everything clear.
Very good. The other parts, I think it's not that important, but I'm going to clarify just in case. Spacecraft is also all vehicles that are sent to space are called spacecrafts, even spaceships, rovers. So a rover is one kind of spacecraft. All right. So this is the biggest, and this is more specific. And the most specific is the name of the rover, which is Perseverance. All right. Just to clarify. With that information, then, please, to finish, let's go and let's read these two extra paragraphs over here, please.
Okay. The rover has been on nearly 300 million mile journey since it left Earth more than 6 months ago. Perseverance and her teams live up to the namesake, overcoming the challenges of preparing for the journey's final stages during a pandemic. This landing is one of those pivotal moments for NASA, the United States, and space exploration globally, when we know we are on the cusp of discovery and sharpening our pencils, so to speak, to rewrite the textbooks. Say acting NASA Administrator Steve Jur- Jurczyk.
Thank you very much, Lourdes. Again, to finish this up, let's first try to read those words. Again, those are little things that we're going to try to fix, or perhaps you're going to fix it yourself. So let's read those, please, one more time.
Lived up, pivotal, cusp.
Okay, so let's analyze. I think the last one was good. The only these ones, again, you know that English is full of exceptions. Sometimes we have that E and sometimes we have that I. In this case, in the case of both, are going to be only like the Spanish E. Lift, all right, lift up, and this is going to be pivotal, all right, pivotal. So lift up or lift. Remember, as I live, right, I lived there, so live, and like E also, pivotal. And I think this one's good, right? Cusp, the cusp, only that, good. Now, again, please, to finish this, Lourdes, if you can try to explain in your own words, what do you get in this part?
Um, I'm not sure what means live up. The namesake. um, no,
Okay, I'm
I'm
going to explain that one. Besides that one, the other information, and then I'm going to explain lived out and the namesake.
okay. Um, The other one, I'm not sure if it's like the Spanish word, like the cusp. I'm not sure if it's like the cúspide in Spanish.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
correct.
and I think that the uh, pivotal, um, those words, I think.
Okay, good. Right. So remember, this is going to be pivotal, right? So lift up to pivotal. Good. Yes, and cusp. That's actually the word that you said in Spanish. All right. The highest point to which you can get. All right. So you said, right, when we know that we're on the cusp of discovery, it means the highest point of discovery and sharpening our pencils, right? So to speak, right? A way of saying that to rewrite the textbook. So a very, very important event that is happening here. Pivotal is a very interesting, a strong way to say important. Remember that you have a lot of synonyms, right, to important, and that some of them are stronger than others. Important is like in the middle point, right? Then you have others that are more important than important, that could be vital, right? Crucial, and one of them can be pivotal, right? What is something, sorry, pivotal? What's something going to be related like this? Something pivotal is going to be something very, very important. In this case, for NASA, right? Pivotal. And besides those ones, I think let's go to this part. What is to live up to something? To live up to something is to fulfill expectations, all right? To do what everybody is expecting from you. Remember that the name of the rover of that vehicle is Perseverance. So when they say that Perseverance lived up to the namesake, what is the namesake? Is the name that was given, all right? Is the given name, the namesake. So when you say that you lived up to your name, it means that you're doing what everyone is expecting from you. And what is everyone expecting from Perseverance? To have a lot of perseverance, right? So that's why they say after that, overcoming the challenges or preparing for their journeys, right? Final stage during a pandemic. So they had a really tough situation in sending Perseverance to the outer space and to make that machine arrive to Mars. So even though there was the pandemic, even though there were a lot of problems, they were able to overcome because they were really perseverant, right? There was a lot of perseverance over there. Because of that, you can use the expression that they lived up to the namesake. It means that they were able to do what the name is saying and what everybody is expecting from you, right? Because of a certain characteristic. In this case, we're talking about the name. That's it. I don't know if it's enough, if you need extra explanation or any other questions. Lourdes, let me know, please.
No, teacher, everything is clear. Thank you.
Good, very good. So again, these words are really important. That's why I was telling you in the first four paragraphs, we have this word, and sorry, just to finish this up, please, Lourdes. And I'm sure, yes, we're the only ones here. Perhaps I was ignoring Mariana. Uh, okay, sorry. The words I recommend you to have in mind, because you're going to find these a lot, is flawlessly. You use this word a lot in English, something flawless, flawlessly, perfect or perfectly, right? Flawless, flawlessly. And you also have these words over here, right? Pivotal, pivotal, and to live up to. Those are also very important. You're going to see this a lot. When something lives up to something, when something is pivotal or very important, and the cusp of something, right? Just that. Let's finish then here, Lourdes. I'm going to see you tomorrow in class. If you have any more questions, remember that I'm going to be checking your essays perhaps tomorrow. Just let me know if you are able to see the comments. If not, again, just let me know in class and I'm going to send you the link. But I didn't check those yet. When I do it, let me know if you're able to see those, all right?
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, good evening, Luciana. How are you? Is everything okay?
Yes, teacher, thank you.
Okay, great. Very good, Luciana. So let's begin with today's reading session. First related to the essays and everything, I was not able to see any of them yet. Remember that I gave you until yesterday, right? Midnight to do it. So today, perhaps after these conversations at 10 p.m., I'm going to start checking some of them, and tomorrow I'm going to finish with all of them. So at least on Wednesday, I'm going to give you all right feedback, as I always do, related to how it was and so on. All right. And with that feedback and the extra information that I'm going to give you on Wednesday and also on Friday, you're going to be able to complete the final essay that is going to be for Monday, right? Because that's going to be the last group class. After that, we have our conversation on Tuesday, and that's going to be everything with me. I don't know if you have any questions related to that, Luciana. Let me know, please, if you do.
No, teacher. So for Monday we have to do the essay, right? Another essay, the final one.
Yes, exactly. And this final one is going to have the last specifications that we're going to learn tomorrow and that we're going to learn on Friday. Actually, it's not going to be a lot because these last things that we're going to cover are only details to improve our reading. For example, to use passive voice or to use active voice, which one is better, or to avoid the usage of negative sentences, to avoid the usage of contractions. I'm going to give you some extra vocabulary to use. So actually what I'm going to give you are some extra tools to make your essay even better, more formal. And with that, you're going to work on a different idea for Monday. And yes, you're right. That's going to be the final essay. If I'm not wrong, it's going to be 370 words this time, but it's the final one. And you finish everything related to writing and reading, because the next course is not going to be with me. You're going to have, I think, a different teacher, but you're going to be able to cover speaking and listening details. All right, the next one. So it's the last thing you're doing related to writing and speaking. Oh, sorry, writing and reading, Luciana. Any questions or doubts?
Okay, teacher, perfect. And now I have one more doubt. For this course, we have to do the. I was. I have like a phone that texts me yesterday to one exam in a link, and I don't know if that is gonna. It's like a part of the course, like for extra, or is going to affect the note of this module.
Which part or what are you talking about in this case, Luciana? I didn't understand that.
Uh, Yesterday, one person of executive English texted me again with a message that they tell me that I have to take like a test with a link that they send me. Respect, like I don't remember very well, but I think that was about verbs. And I want
Okay.
to know that is
Well,
gonna, it's like
that
an
should be
extra
that
of for
should be
this.
something else, Luciana, because everything, at least as far as I'm concerned, all right, the 100 points on this course are given by me. All right, it means that I'm not going to take that into account unless management contacts me and then they tell me that that's going to be for something. Perhaps they are working on that because that's going to be something extra. All right, I think it's something extra. I'm not sure what. Some of you already taught me about that you're using Anki, I think, right? Are you using Anki?
So teacher, what?
Are you
I,
using
I
an app that is called Anki, or are you using a different application or app?
no, teacher. That number like text me in WhatsApp and tell me that was from executive English and that they were they were create more lessons, more additional lessons for the students so they can have additional content and improve hearing the English. And for week we have to take like their the respective test about
Okay.
two seasons, but I'm gonna do it anyway for practice. But I wanna know
Yes.
that.
Yes, no, do it in any case, Luciana, because I imagine that they are doing these extra things to help you memorize and learn extra
Ye-
vocabulary,
because they
right?
put like a note at the end and says that is requisite for approve all the lessons to can opt to the tramite. I don't know how to say it in English.
Okay, paperwork.
For the certification of the TOEFL.
Okay, okay. Yes, because the TOEFL is going to be something extra, Luciana, that you can take because it's an extra course. After you finish the, let's say, the speaking or listening course, you have an extra course that is related to the TOEFL preparation course. So perhaps to those students that are going to be interested in taking that extra preparation course, they are going to start preparing them by giving them this vocabulary to be ready, right? Because you need to know a lot of vocabulary to take and to, well, yes, to take the TOEFL. So do
Okay.
it just in case, but it's something extra. I think it's going to make you able to take that course, but it's not for this course in specific. You're going to pass this course with the scores that I'm giving to your essays, with the in-class activities and so on, right? So that
Okay.
thing that you're telling
Thank
me
you,
is something
teacher.
apart. Okay, perfect. You're welcome. So let's work. Now we have these 5 minutes, but it's going to be more than enough, I think. We're going to talk about this article that is related to Perseverance, the rover Perseverance. A rover is a robot, a vehicle that works, right, that functions outer space. It means, for example, in the moon, on Mars, right? On Mars, these are planets or moons, of course. And the name of this rover is Perseverance. NASA sent this rover, right, to Mars, and it landed successfully, right? It was on February this year, right? February 2021. And they consider this as a very, very important achievement because they are going to be able to analyze many things and to be sure there was water on Mars, and also if there was life on Mars many time ago, but if there was. With that context, let's start reading, please, and let's try to learn as much as we can related to this topic, please, Luciana. Let's read those two paragraphs first.
Okay, teacher. The NASA Perseverance rover safely landed on Mars after its 292.5 million mile journey from Earth. The agency confirmed at 3:55 p.m. ET Tuesday. The rover landed itself flawlessly, according to the mission's team. Percy, as the spacecraft is affectionately called a mission control, sent back its first image of the landing site immediately after touchdown, which shows the rover's shadow on the surface of its landing site of the zero crater.
Thank you very much. So just to see the details, first we're going to go to pronunciation. As always, you're doing very, very good. But let's just read these details to be sure and to make some corrections if necessary. Let's try to read this number once again, please, Luciana.
Okay, 292.5
Good, very good. What about this word?
flawlessly.
Okay, this one is going to be a little bit different. We're going to work with that again. Anytime you have right, Spanish and U or W, it's going to become more like O, right? More like O. So it's going to be more like flawlessly, right?
Okay,
More like flawlessly. So let's read one more time, please.
okay, flawlessly.
Exactly. And you can make that even more O, right? Flawlessly.
Flawlessly.
Good. And what about this one?
A crater.
That I is just going to be a little bit more like the A, so it's going to be more like crater, right? The crater.
Okay,
Good, great. So that's it.
great.
That's it. Very good. Now my question is first, what can you tell me about this information in your own words?
Sorry, teacher, what?
Yes, what can you tell me about this information in your own words, right? Try to
Okay.
explain everything that you were able to get.
The I was able to understand that the NASA Perseverance rover uh, landed on Mars safely after a long million-mile journey from Earth, and I think that that's all. And they sent like images of the landing immediately when they were there, and that will show like more about the trip.
Perfect. All right, good. Yes, because there's not a lot of information here, right? I'm going to ask some questions related to some details. For example, we know that I told you, right? Rover is the name of the vehicle, the outer space vehicle, and Perseverance is the name of that rover, right? What is the name that they are giving to Perseverance that is not Perseverance in this article? They are giving like another name, and it's a name like, for example, when you or if you have, for example, right, a kid, and you don't call him, right, you don't call her, let's say Alejandra, you call her Ale, right? What is the
Okay,
name that they're giving to Perseverance?
Percy.
Percy, right? Good, exactly. That's the name, right, that they are giving at mission control, right, to that spacecraft. So Percy is the way they are calling Perseverance. Good. The second question, how can you restate this statement, Luciana? It says the rover landed itself flawlessly. What other words can you use to replace the word flawlessly, perhaps?
I think that it will be perfectly.
Yes, very good. Perfectly. Great. Great. That is the best option over there. That's it. We're going to try to read at least two more paragraphs just to read them. But in this part, do you have any questions? Let me know, please, Luciana.
No, teacher, everything is clear.
Great. Let's go down a little bit then. And we're going to read these two last paragraphs to finish the conversation, please. Luciana. There you go. Let's read that, please.
Okay, the rover has been on a nearly 300 million mile journey since it left Earth more than 6 months ago. Perseverance and her teams lived up to the namesake, overcoming the challenge of preparing for the journey's final stages during a pandemic. This landing is one of those pivot. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead, please, Luciana. All the
Okay,
pronunciation things are going to be at the end.
of those moments for NASA, the United States and space exploration globally, when we know we are on the cusp of discovery and sharpening our pencils, so to speak, to rewrite the textbooks, said acting NASA Administrator Steve Jurczyk.
There you go. I think it's the only word also that was difficult. So yes, it's going to be pivotal. All right, pivotal. Good. So with that information, again, to finish the conversation, what can you tell me about this part of the reading, Luciana? What were you able to get?
Sorry, teacher, I was able to understand that they were they were prepared because they experimented a lot of challenge in the preparation, and they left like the earth like since 6 months ago, and that was like the landing, a very important moment for NASA, especially talking about terms in, I don't know, knowledge about the space, or the even the exploration of the space. And is important. I in that last part, I was able to understand that with this new information, the acting of NASA, the administrator Steve, was trying to say that with these like new details, we can like rewrite the textbooks, meaning that in the way that we know like new things that maybe have to maybe these things change the things we knew before.
Good, very good, great. That was a great summary, Luciana. I agree with you. This is considered, right, a very, very important moment. It's a pivotal moment, right, for NASA, because this discovery is going to change, right? Well, as they can say, the course of history, or we're going to rewrite, as they say, right, the textbooks, because the knowledge that we have related to space, to Mars, and well, to life in general, could change according to the things that they could discover by exploring the surface of Mars with this rover that is Perseverance. Good. Again, to finish taking advantage of this, do you have any questions related to the words? If not, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, very short ones, but do you have any specific questions related to vocabulary or expressions, Luciana? Let me know, please.
No, teacher. Only in that word I was not able to hear very well. I don't know how to pronounce it.
This one over here?
Yes.
Okay, it's going to be like pivotal, all right? Pivotal. All right, do you get it?
Okay, pivotal.
Pivotal, good. Now, pivotal is something very important, right? Something crucial, something very, very important. That's the meaning of pivotal. Now, if I ask you, for example, what do they mean when they say this in Luciana over here? They say Perseverance and her teammates, right, or teams, lived up to the namesake. And then the extra explanation, right? Overcoming the challenges of preparing of the journeys, right? Final stage and blah, blah. What do you think is the meaning of this idea? What is to live up to something, Luciana?
I think that it was talking about how with perseverance you can make a dream come true. It's like the team was living to have that experience.
Okay, in a certain ways, yes, it is related. And we have to know that Perseverance, right, is the name of the rover, right? And then here they say the namesake. So the namesake, sorry, of this rover is Perseverance. So this expression, to live up to something, is actually to fulfill expectations. So for example, if your name, right, is not Luciana and your name is Perseverance, everybody is going to expect, right, from you to be very perseverant, right? I'm going to tell you, but come on, your name is Perseverance. You should be very perseverant. So in that way, they are saying that perseverance is living up to the name, because actually perseverance, the rover Perseverance, is being perseverant, right? That's to live up to something, to fulfill expectations, to do what everybody is expecting from you. All right, that's to live up to something. That's it. I think we have the word pivotal as well. And CASP, this is the last one. How can you understand this word, Luciana, to finish this out? CASP,
I
what is that
think
for
that
you?
I think that for this sentence is referring to is at the top of discovery.
Good, very good.
Was
That's
like
it. Well, what else? What else, Luciana? Tell me.
no, sorry, teacher, that was it.
Good. Yes, it's at the top, right? It's in the highest point that you can get. That's the cusp, right? Good. That's it. Any questions or comments before finishing? Let me know, please, Luciana.
No, teacher, I think that everything's clear.
Great. There you go. Let's
So
finish.
when I say like a
Yes,
question
tell
about
me.
that, like that, um, leave it up to the namesake. Is namesake I can refer to expectation about something.
Yeah, no, actually this, only this part, because the namesake is the given name, right? What is the namesake here? Perseverance. Only this expression, live up to, That's a phrasal verb, all right? If you say that you live up to something, it means that you fulfill the expectations, all right, of something. That is the meaning
Oh,
of living up to something. You fulfill the expectations. You are doing something that everyone is expecting from you to do.
okay.
All right, good, very good. Then I think that's it. Again, I'm going to give you all the details related to the feedback from your essays tomorrow, at least. Let's try to take that into account for the final essay. That's it, Luciana. I hope you have a great night. Thank you for being in this conversation, and I'll see you tomorrow in class.
Okay. Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Bye bye. Hello, good evening, Melissa. How are you? Is everything okay?
Hello, Jose Luis. Sí, everything is okay.
Great. Let's begin with today's reading session then. I'm going to share my screen. There you go. All right. So as I was mentioning before, we're going to have a conversation related to this article that is, well, related to, right, technology, science, space. It's the rover Perseverance, and it's landing, sorry, on Mars on February this year, right? It's February 19, 2021. So it's something that happened not long ago, but it's interesting and it's worth reading this article because of we're going to learn some interesting things, and because there's like a lot of interesting vocabulary here as well. Let's begin then, please, Melissa. I'm going to ask you to please read this headline to start with the reading session.
Okay. Perseverance rover has successfully landed on Mars and sent back its first images.
Very good. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions here to know that we're going to have the vocabulary we need to go to the first paragraphs. First, for you, what is a rover? What can, or in which way can you describe a rover, Melissa?
I'm not familiar with that word, but for me, it sounds like it's an I don't know if it's correct, but like a device that it's sent somewhere to explore, maybe.
Okay, we're closer. A device is going to be like too small, like also it's not going to have the characteristics that a rover can have, but we're close because yes, it's something that has been sent to space that is more likely to be a spacecraft, all right? A rover is one kind of a spacecraft, one kind of vehicle that has characteristics, right, that led that vehicle to explore, to analyze, to take pictures, right? So a rover can be a very complex vehicle that works outer space. All right, that's going to be a rover. Besides that, Perseverance, what is for you this name, Perseverance? What do you think is this name given to?
Maybe it's given to because there over time there have been many tries to spacecraft or spaceships, I don't know, to go on Mars and see if there's water or the possibility to have life there. And so maybe that's why the name, because this is another try to go to Mars and see what the conditions are.
Okay, very good, great, yes. And actually, this is a name, right? That's the name of the rover, right? This rover, this specific spacecraft, which is a rover, is called, right, Perseverance. Good. And the explanation is actually what you're saying. And it's interesting because this name was given by kids, if I'm not sure, on school, because they made like a contest and the kids were supposed to give ideas and to explain those ideas. And it was interesting because that kid, I don't remember if it was, all right, a little guy or a little girl, chose this name, giving that kind of explanation. And it's right to persevere, right, to be perseverant in getting what we want. Yes, and actually, with many more rovers, right, got on the surface on Mars, but this is going to be the first one with these characteristics, and that it's going to be able to determine, right, if, as you were saying, right, there was really water on Mars a long while ago, or even if there was life, because they suppose that if they have these very big craters that seem to be enormous lakes, rivers, and also oceans, they believe that the possibility, right, of life to be there is very, very high. So this is what Perseverance is going to be doing there, because the place in which this rover is arriving is the exact place in which they believe that a big lake existed many, many millions of years ago. So with that context, let's try now to go with the reading itself. Melissa, please let's read the first two paragraphs.
Okay. The NASA Perseverance rover safely landed on Mars after its 292.5 million mile journey from Earth. The agency confirmed at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, the rover landed itself flawlessly, according to the mission's team. Percy, as the spacecraft is affectionately called at mission control, sent back its first image of the landing site immediately after touchdown, which shows the rover's shadow on the surface of its landing site of the Jezero crater.
Great. Thank you very much, Melissa. Yes, this can be called like G0, all right, that O. It's very close to that. It's a name, so it can have variations, right? G0 or G0 are going to be good. Now, what do we get from this part, Melissa? What information can you give me with these two paragraphs?
The most that I could get to understand was that the rover sent the first images immediately after the touchdown. I think that's immediately after it touched the surface, and there was not any complication or any problem during the journey or in the landing or when it touched surface. And it also, I think, the image is attached after the paragraphs.
Okay, good. Yes, the way you explain those words, very good. The last part I didn't understand. Melissa, can you repeat just the last part, the last idea?
I was saying that probably the first image is next after the paragraph.
Okay, yes.
Attached.
Good. Yes, correct. This is because they have their own Twitter account, right? And NASA is posting everything there using Twitter and other social media, right? And they are showing, right, some pictures. They even have the video, right? They have the video of the landing moments, how it worked. They were able to see that everything went right, as they is saying here, flawlessly, right? So it means no mistakes, no extra problems, as you were saying. So everything went very, very well. And yes, this is the first image that we have attached here. They are showing this one to show what they're talking about, right? Because it's mentioned in this, right? Which shows the rover's shadow on the surface of the landing site of Jezero crater. Good. Do you have any questions related to some words or vocabulary? Melissa, let me know, please.
What would be the exact meaning of touchdown in this case?
Touchdown is only one expression that is used when there is contact within an object, all right, and the ground. Any object and the ground. So touchdown in this case would be landing, all right, after landing. So it says the landing site immediately after touchdown. It means after landing. So to not repeat the idea of landing, they use touchdown, or simply to say that the object, in this case the rover, was in contact for the first time with the ground. All right, this the way you were explaining, it's actually that. Touchdown is the first contact that the object has with the ground. Just that one. Any other questions or comments?
I think that was my only question.
Good. Let's go to the next part. We're going to read at least two, if we have the time, three paragraphs. Let's continue with these two, please, Melissa.
Okay. The rover has been on nearly 300 million mile journey since it left Earth more than 6 months ago. Perseverance and her teams lived up to the namesake, overcoming the challenges of preparing for the journey's final stages during a pandemic. This landing is one of those pivotal moments for NASA, the United States, and space exploration globally. When we know we are on the cusp of discovery and sharpening our pencils, so to speak, to rewrite the textbooks, said acting NASA Administrator Steve Jorsic.
There you go. Thank you, Melissa, once again. Again, let's start first by everything that you were able to get from these new two paragraphs.
I could get that the rover has been traveling for more than 6 months, and it has overcome all its challenges during the pandemic, and that this is a really important landing, and it's a big step for the NASA or the US and for space exploration in general, because it's very important that it could travel for probably for that long and to be safe in Mars after the landing.
Okay, very good. Yes, in fact, this is a very, very important, right? We can say this word, we're going to read that again. It's going to be like a pivotal moment, right? A pivotal moment. And that's very, very important, right? Good. With that, again, what questions do you have related to this part, Melissa? Anything related to vocabulary? I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, but first I would like you to ask me some questions or doubts that you may have.
I think I'm not sure, but what is the meaning of cusp? For me, it's like on top, or I don't know, to be
Yes.
the best at something.
Good. To be on the cusp, right, is to be on the highest point that you could be. That's it. The word in Spanish is very similar, right? I'm not going to say the word, but it's very similar. Of course, it's larger, but it sounds like very similar. So it's the cusp, the highest point in which you can get.
Okay, then what it would be the meaning of namesake?
Namesake is like the given name. For example, even Melissa, Luis, all right, those are namesakes. Are names that are attributed or given, all right, the way you are baptized. In this case, the namesake they're talking about is Perseverance, because that's the given name of this rover, right? I'm not going to, I'm sorry, of this rover, right? The rover's name is Perseverance. So they're talking about actually this name, all right? The namesake, the name that was given to something, in this case, to this object, to this vehicle, right? To the rover. What else, Melissa?
I think that those two were my only questions. I'm reading it again. What I think it's an expression, but sharpening our pencils would be like to be prepared.
Yes, and in this case, they're actually using these words literally, all right, to sharpen your pencils, to rewrite the textbooks, right? But they are using these expressions as a metaphor, right? They are saying, with this thing that we are doing, with the arriving of Perseverance to Mars, we're going to change history, right? We're going to change the way we are looking at space, because if we get to discover life, or well, that there was life on Mars, if we get to discover that there was a water and life on Mars, right, in general, we're going to be changing everything that was thought about the universe, because they are going to be able to see that not only the distance, right, between the Earth and the Sun is the right distance to have life there. It can be even more. So many things in science are going to change. So this is used as metaphor. To sharpen a pencil, you know what that is, right? So it's like getting prepared. They are getting prepared to change history, but they are using all that expression only as a metaphor to say that idea, right? We're going to change things after this discovery. Just that, Melissa.
Okay, got it.
All right, good. Now, I have just one question, because I think we talked about the most important parts over here. It's also related to this part. We know what namesake is, right? Now we're talking about Perseverance. What do you get from this idea? Only this idea. Perseverance and her teammates lived up to her namesake. How do you understand that one, knowing now the meaning of namesake?
I think that it could mean something like the theme and the rover own that name, or give credit to the name, because I don't know, they persevere and succeed after all these challenges. I don't know if it would be the correct expression, but it would be something like they owned that name. They were persevering.
Okay, good, good. We're on the right track. All right, just a couple of little details. You're right. To live up to be more precise, even more precise, is to fulfill expectations, right?
Okay.
For example, if your name, right, is not Melissa, and your name is Perseverance, right? Giving this example, of course, people are going to say, "Okay, come on, that's your name. You should be someone really perseverant, right? Are you?" So if you are really someone that is very perseverant and your name is Perseverance, it means that you're living up to your name. Why? Because you're fulfilling everybody's expectations, right? Because just because you have that name, everybody is expecting you to be very persistent, right? To persevere a lot. And that's it. To live up to something is to fulfill expectations that people have because of something, right? Because, for example, your profession, I don't know, you are an engineer, let's say, right? A civil engineer. You need to know a lot about maths and something like that, and you have a problem and you solve that problem very quickly, right? You can say that you lived up to your profession because you are good at what you're supposed to do. More or less, that's the idea. I don't know if it's clear for you, Melissa.
Yes, it's clear
Good.
now.
Great. Again, your idea was good, but more specifically and more particularly speaking, it's related to expectations in this case. Great. Anything else before finishing? Let me know, please, Melissa. But with this, we were finishing this reading session. Any question related to this or something else? Let me know, please.
Yes, not related to this conversation, but I don't know if you were able to know this, but I couldn't send my essay last night because, again, I'm really full of work these days. So I have it, but I don't want I didn't want to send it without all the transitions or fanboys. Uh, so I'm not sure if I could send it with a less percentage of grade, or maybe I could get some more time because I was already finishing, but I didn't want to send it without all the notes that you gave me last time.
Okay, yes, continue please working on that, Melissa. It would be great that you can upload that today until midnight. If not, try to do it until tomorrow morning. I don't know, but try to do it as soon as you can so that I can check all of those together. But yes, you can do it. No problem with that, Melissa. We're going to see about the grades, but it's important that you can upload it when you can.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
All right.
That was my only question about that. And I'm really sorry. It's been really difficult this month because I'm trying to I don't know, to get on track with all my assignments, but I will try to upload it today before midnight.
Great, great. Yes, do your best to do it that way. In case you need some more time, try to use that extra time, but just do it. Whenever you are ready, try to do it. But it's going to be great if it's not later than tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to try to check everything before giving you the next criteria for the final essay. All right?
Okay, thank you,
Perfect.
Jose Luis. No worry.
Perfect.
I will send it tonight.
Great. There you go. So that's it then, Melissa. Do it. I'm going to check it as soon as I have it. I think tomorrow morning I'm going to be checking some of the essays, but that's it. Have a great night then, Melissa, and I'll see you tomorrow in class.
Okay, you too. Good night,
Thank you.
Jose Luis. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.